Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? It's only been a couple hours since you've seen me last. So, what we're going to be working on tonight is relations and functions. So, we're going to take this piece by piece. So, the key thing when we're dealing with this, angle that over there, get rid of that. Now, the way that you can tell, there's certain tests, there's certain rules when you're dealing with functions. So relations is like basically the comparison of two things, okay? So one of the things could be a person's name and their birthdays. Now, the way that you can tell that it's a function is if whatever your x values are, they cannot repeat. Meanwhile, like if you think of it this way, two people can have the same birthday, but one person cannot have multiple birthdays. If so, you should be giving that woman an award because there is no way it's going to be happening, right? So when you always look, just take a glance to see if your x's are repeating. If it's repeating, then it's not a function. And if you're looking at your graph, if it passes that vertical line test, so remember, vertical goes up and down. If you can draw a line at any point on that graph, and this vertical line hits that graph more than once, then it's not a function. If it only hits at one spot in multiple areas and multiple parts of that graph, then it is a function. So that's basically telling me that my x values are not repeating. So what we're going to do is look at certain situations. We're going to also talk a little bit about domain and range, as well as we're going to do a little bit evaluating. So we're going to be plugging things in. Now that's definitely on the GED. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. It was on the GED, the ASVAB, as well as the TEAS test. So, if you are given, let's do this. Let me grab my marker here. So, if we have like a set of coordinate points. So, if I said we have 1, -2, we have, let's say, -2, 0. We'll have -1, 2, as well as 1, 3. Okay. So, just by looking at this, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 order pairs. So when they ask you, these are relations. You have an x and a y, okay? So those are the relations, is a set of relations. But in order for it to be a function, we have to check the x-axis. We need to check the x's. So if I look, I notice that my x's are repeating in this 1, -2, and also here at 1, 3. So since the x's are repeating, this is not a function. It is a relation because we have x and y values, but it's not a function because x is repeating. Okay, it's repeating at x equals 1. Now, you're probably saying, well, these 2's are there. Yeah, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter, 1, they're y's. 2, one's negative and one's positive. So it has to be the same signage and also the same value, meaning x value or y value. All right? Not too treacherous, right? So When they ask me, I'm going to expand on this a little bit, and I'm going to take it off to the side. When they ask me, what is my domain? Now, the domain is the set of your x's. Let me see if I can write it here. Okay, so it's basically a list of all your x's. So my domain, we're going to write it as a set, and some people say x such that. Some people have gotten rid of that, some people haven't. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you anyway. So all we're doing is listing our x's. Some like to have it listed from least to greatest. So the lowest is my -2, -1, and my 1s. Although the 1s are written out twice, I don't have to list it twice. Okay, does that make sense? Good. Good, guys, good. Way to see that. All right, so since my domain, even though that +1 is repeated twice, we only have to list it out once. So now if I'm looking at my range is the list of my y's. So all I'm doing is listing out my y's. And I can start with the lowest number, which is a -2. Then we have 0, 2, then 3. Okay. All right. Okay, well, hello, everyone. Hey, Danny. Hey, C4, yes. There you go. Hey, Snooks. Pleasure to meet you. Everything's going pretty well. I've been feeling like I'm all over the place. Hello, Bundles of Blessing. How are you? All right, there is Janice. Good. All right, I think we got everyone in attendance. Good. All right, so let's try one more looking at ordered pairs. And let's see. Like, is it a function or is it not a function? Let's go with so I have -1, 7, 0, -3, 1, 10, and 0, 7. Okay. So, is this a function? Yes or no? Okay. So C4, why is this not a function? One of those, hey baby. Why is this not a function? Okay. Settle. Yes. Okay, so the 0 is repeating. Good. The 0 2 times. Yes. Okay, so this is going to answer your question. I think it is Jesse. All right. So it can only be a function when your x values are not repeating. But here, our x's are repeating. They're repeating here as well as here. So since we have in this whole set, since we have repeating zeros, this is not a function. If the x's do not repeat, it is a function. Okay. Can you have a function with repeating y's? Yes, you can. So if you think of it this way, so let's say we have, I'm going to make a chart or a table actually. We have names and we have birthdays. So we got Jan, got Mark. We have, I actually had a kid named Keys. This is an actual kid's name, believe it or not. So let's say 10-5. Let's say 11-3. And let's say 9-1. Okay. Now, Jan was born October 5th. Mark was born November 3rd. Keys was born September 1st. Right? Or, I just put that as extra. I'm going to put, let me put Amber. I'm going to add Amber to the mix because I need to prove a point. All right? So let's say that Mark and Jan shared the same birthday. Okay? Amber was in November. We'll say Keys was in September. Now, is this possible? Okay? Is it possible for Jan and Mark to have the same birthday? I know, work with me here. Is it possible? Yes or no? Yes, no. So there, you mean to tell me that everyone in the world has their own individual birthday? Okay? Yeah. Multiple people can have the same birthday. Yeah, that's definitely possible. But if I said Jan was born October 5th and November 3rd, does that make sense? I know, brats, you're just trying to be a brat right now. It's okay. Or you just feel like just saying no, okay? Yes, no, it doesn't make sense, okay? No one's like birthing a baby, then putting it back in and then birth it out later. Like, no one's not doing that, right? Good God, no. All right, so one person can't have multiple birthdays. And don't give me that. What about leap year? Go ahead, don't even type it. Don't even hit send. You know, I'm actually saying you actually birthed. You were born on a day. That's only happening one time, okay? So the X's cannot repeat because if you think of it, one person can't have multiple birthdays. But multiple people can have the same birthday. So the Y's can repeat, but the X's cannot. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. So sometimes putting it into a little bit of logic kind of helps it out a little bit. Okay? All right, so what are we talking about? Well, right now we're looking at relations and functions. So how can we tell something is a function? Okay, these are a bunch of relations. Comparing your names and birthday, that's a relation. But in order for it to be a function, your X values cannot repeat. Okay, our X values cannot repeat. Yes, telling you. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Now, we're going to look at the domain, and I'm going back to the order pairs. So the domain, and then we're going to do the range. So the domain is the listing of my X's, starting from the lowest one, which is -1. 0, we only have to write the 0 once. Then we have our 1. So that's our domain. Then the range is just basically the list of the Y's. So starting with the lowest one, which is -3. Yeah, we have 2 of the 7s, but we only have to write that once. And then 10. Okay, so that's the domain and the range for what's in red. Nope, it's not graphing, not yet. What type of math is this? Algebra 1. Okay. So which x values? So if you're looking at an ordered pair, the first number is your x values. The second number is your y values. High school. Yep. You may see some snippets of it in pre-algebra in like maybe 6th or 7th grade sometimes. Yeah. But this is definitely on the GED and AccuPlacer. Okay. All right. Okay. So now that was looking at it as an ordered pair. And we kind of just looked at it as a table. So whenever you look, your x's cannot repeat. This is what's called mapping. Okay. Yes. High school math. So this is mapping. Okay. So if we see 2 items going to one y value, it's not a function. Okay. It will not be a function at all. So now let's look at it as graphs. So I'm going to kind of put it right here. I know it was stuck on my desk. I was trying to pre-tape a little bit, so part of my desk came off. All right. Oh, thanks, C4. Appreciate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple, and we're going to try, as I'm setting this up, if you guys want to go ahead and tap, you can tap. And while I'm setting this up, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the summer math prep. So if you are working on your GED, if you're working on your ASVAB, if you're working on the TEAS test, and you really want to basically get from the very beginning someone to walk you through step by step. Okay, make sure you reach out to me because we're actually having a flash sale. So the original price, the real original price of all of this was around $379. And I based that off of the time I spent to put things together, the resources that you're going to get, time and attention. Yeah, there's all that. But like I said in one of my posts, not too many people have that. A lot of people are getting fired left and right. So what I did was like, all right, let me break it down to $147. So then I was like, you know what? It's an introductory. It's Memorial Day weekend. Why not have a flash sale? Let me do it at $97. Let's see how many people want to do it. And that sale is actually going to end Monday evening at 11:59. So as we kind of take a look at all of these things, you get 24 sessions for like really close to nothing. Because if you look at it, 24 sessions, it basically each session costs $4.04. Name 2 things that you can get for $4.04. That's legal. Hell, not even illegal. What are we talking about? Okay. So just so you can really get those concepts and you can feel comfortable in what you're doing. And as you're feeling comfortable with all the things that you're doing, where is it? Oh, here it is. So you can go ahead and pass that assessment and then move on with your life, right? Because a lot of you guys are keep telling me what's standing in your way of your next step is this stupid test. Okay? You want to go into the military. You want to protect and serve. You want to get your high school diploma so you can get a better job. A lot of you guys are saying this to me, which is awesome. But now we got to put it into action. And I can tell you, it's going to be hard for you to try to do it by yourself. So if you are interested in it, if you haven't heard from me, right now we have 4 people that's already in. Woohoo! So if you want to be involved in it as well, definitely reach out to me. Okay, reach out to me. If you want to get more information, I will try, because I don't know. I was trying to fix it earlier when I went live, but for some reason it just doesn't like links. So hey, all I can do is what I can do. All right, let's see. Gum. For $4, I remember penny candy. Remember that? Which ones Y values and which ones X values? So think of the alphabet. X, Y. Just like if you think about X, Y, Z. So X comes first and Y comes after. All right. I'm worth every penny. Is there a link to the website to register? Couldn't find one last night. There is. And I'm going to try to post it again. I'm going to try to one more time. I tried to do it earlier and it was like, no, epic fail. Let's see if I can. Let's see if it will let me do it this time. Okay, so I was able to do it. Okay, but the link is in my bio. Yes. No 5 cent, 2 cent, everything $5. I know. I love when they call it 5 and below. Like below what? I have yet to see anything that is like below 5 and below. Thanks, C4. Yeah, I just put it up there, so I'm not sure if TikTok's just not liking my link. But it's definitely. All right. Okay. So, looking for a math teacher position. So you're looking for a position to teach? Well, I don't know. I don't have jobs. I'm just doing my thing, as you can see. Not to be rude. But yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. So really, there are math teaching positions almost anywhere. I mean, as long as you got the certification, you got everything that they need, you'd be able to do that. All right. So let's take a look. So what I want us to do, I'm going to try to zoom into each one so you can really see it. I want us to know, is it a function? And if it's a function, just type in Y for yes, N for no. Okay. For private classes, I am. Yep, I do private tutoring. Just go ahead and go to the link, go to my website, and then just fill in the contact form. Yep, and I'll get back to you. All right, so we got a Y from Bundles of Blessings. We got a Y from user, KTQT. Okay, you're welcome. All right, so we got a yes, we only got 2 yeses. Okay, there we go. JD, how are you, JD? All right, yes, I guess it's a function. Well, that would be a good guess. Good. Baby is saying yes. Good. Now, this is how you can tell. So remember earlier I said there's 2 ways of finding out that something's a function. The one was checking to see if the x's are repeating, and the other one is it has to pass the vertical line test. So if I draw a vertical line through any point, I'm just going to do it as dashed so you can see it a little bit. All right, so if you notice, there's a point right here where it intersects, a point right here where it intersects, and a point up here where it intersects. So that means this graph hits my vertical line only once, and that's what we want. So that's telling me this x of -2, this x of probably -1/2, and this x right here at 1, we only have one value of x that is hitting this graph. So yes, this is a function. So now, if we want to look at the domain and the range. So the domain, I'm just going to write D for domain and R for range. Your domain is the list of X's. So what we're seeing here is only a small snapshot. You ever see someone take a picture really close, and then when you step back, you start seeing everything else that was around it? That's what's happening here. We're only seeing part of this graph. Because if I expanded this paper, this line is going to keep going, all the way to positive infinity and negative infinity. So when it asks, what are my X's? Well, it's not stopping. It's going to keep going, as I said, to positive infinity and to negative infinity. And I'm going to write it as interval notation. Okay, remember this? The link's not working? Well, probably the link where? In my website or on here? Okay. On your side? It's working on your side? Here. Oh, the one here? Yeah, go to my website. That'll be the easiest way because I don't think it likes the links. I was trying to fool around with it earlier, but it just does not like me. I'm going to figure it out. That's on my list to do after the live. Again. All right. So since it keeps going on and on, my domain is all real numbers, but my range, remember my range is Y's. And that's keep going on and on. So my range is also negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay. What's the website? Okay, that should show up. Okay. Here's my thing. Why is it when I type, you can't see any of my responses? Thank you, C4, for doing that. Because I've typed it like a couple times already and it's not going. Yep, and they are. Should it be open intervals? They are. Those are parentheses. Closed is when it's a bracket. Okay, closed is when it's a bracket. All right. So these are open. These are unbounded. Okay. So taking a look at this one. All right. How much math is in coding? The whole thing. All right. All right, so Bundles is saying, no, it's not a function. Do we agree? Okay, Bebe is saying no. Is it Lurix? Lucrix? Okay, Sir Eagle. Hello, Sir Eagle. Okay, not sure. We got nose. Cookie, hi. Okay, guess it's not a function. Okay. All right. So if I were, let me switch pens for a second. If I were to draw a vertical line through this set of points, okay, this set of points, and this set of points, what do you notice? Okay, JD, good. These 2 points, right. It's repeating, good. Because right here at 1, it's repeating in 2 spots. Right here at 3, it's repeating in 2 spots, okay? It's fine right here, perfectly fine. It's fine over here. Almost forgot about this one, okay? But overall, if they said the graph overall, this is not a function. Okay, so it's not a function. But what's my domain? What would be my domain? Okay, you see it, Janice? Good. Thank you guys for the follow. Hello, Michael. Okay. What would be my domain? Okay. Okay, so Bundles of Blessings says -2, -1, 1, and 3. Okay, user Cute Hey is saying negative from -2 to -3. Okay, saying -2, -1, 1, and 3. Okay, Sir Eagle saying 1. Pog is saying -2, 2, and 3. Oh, we got a nice little mixture of answers. Okay, anyone else want to try one? Remember, question marks are welcomed. If you're just like, I have no clue, you can put a question mark there. This is a safe space. It's okay. Just give it to God. Just give it to God. It'll be all right. Okay, thank you, Janice. Appreciate it. Cookie, you're saying from +2 to 2. Okay, change to question mark. Okay, thank you for your honesty. C4 saying -1, 1, and 3. Okay, all right. So now let's take a look. Since these are individual points, okay, we won't be able to use the interval notation. Okay, interval notation is only for what's called continuous graphs. So that means I can pick a point that's a whole number. I can pick x is like a half. Same with the y's. I can pick a quarter. I can pick 1/8. You know, I can pick numbers between 0 and 1. So that's a continuous graph. Whereas over here, we have what's called a can't even speak it. Discrete. There we go. A discrete graph, meaning we only have these points. Okay, that's all we have. It's not connected. They're just random points, scatter plots. Okay, so if we are to list the x's, that's what your domain is. Start with the lowest number. There was a point when x was -2. There is a point when x is -1. There are 2 points when x is 1, but we only have to write that one time. And there are 2 points when the x is 3, but we only have to write it down one time. Okay, so that will be your domain. Your domain is the list of your x's. Okay, makes sense? Okay, all right. Yep. So, keeping that in mind, if I want our range, what do you think our range would be? If that's how we got our x's, what do you think our y's will be? Okay, you are. Okay. So I'm seeing a -1, 1, and 3. -2, 0, 1, and 3. Okay, Michael's saying from -2 to 3. Snippety is saying -2, 0, 1, and 3. Okay, user Qt is saying -2, 0, 1, and 3. Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern. Okay. And then C4 is saying -2, 0, 1, and 3. Okay. So if we're looking at our Y's, okay, remember our Y-axis is right here. So we're looking this way. So we got our -2 is the first number. Then we have our 0. Then we have 1. And then we go up to this point, which our Y will be 3. Okay. -2, 0, 1, and 3. All right. What's wrong, Michael? That's right. It's fine. We're trying. That's what we're doing. Okay. When you guys come here, that's Jay. Don't laugh. Celebrate yourself, man. Do not hold back. All right. This is what you do. Okay, so we're learning. Some of you guys, you haven't seen this since you were a fetus, all right? So give yourself some grace, okay? And even back then, you're probably like, I was too busy, chasing the opposite sex, or the opposite sex was chasing me. Okay, good luck to you, girl. Or you were doing sports, you were doing activities, you were just like, hey, I'm coming to school just to be social. So you really didn't really get it back then. So now you get an opportunity to learn it in a chill environment. You could just like sit back, relax, and you're doing a little bit of math, right? Okay, you're definitely in the hall. Oh, JD. All right, so we're taking it step by step now. All right, so let me slide over. So again, we have a set of points. Okay, so again, this is a discrete math. Oh, thank you for the money gun. Appreciate that. But not this way. Okay. Yeah, there's so many different ways. There's so many different ways, Janice. That's okay. Okay. So now we're looking at our graph. Okay, we got a discrete graph. So we do not have a continuous line. So it can't be an interval notation. Interval notation is only when you have a continuous graph. So is this a function? Okay, C4 saying he guesses a function. Cookie is saying yes, it's a function. All right, we got two with the functions. Bundles is saying yes. Okay, Snippety, yes. Michael, yes. JD, so. C, okay. I'm like, so, here we go. C, all right, good. Janice is saying yes, good. Because if we drew a vertical line through all these points, or basically individually, you have 1 point for one line. So yes, this is a function. So now, what's our domain? What's the list of my x's? What's wrong, Michael? I heard a yes and then there was a question mark. Okay, so Pog is saying -2, 0, 2, and 3. You join delete. Okay. Negative 2, 0, 2, and 3 for anti. All right. Bundles of blessing, negatives 2, 0, 2, and 3. JD saying negative 2, 0, 2, and 3. So we're basically looking at the x-axis. Starting with the lowest one, we do have a point at negative 2. So that's one of them. Then we have this next point where my x is 0. Then we have this point where my x is 2. And then we have this point where my x value is 3. So the domain deals with the list of my x's. Okay, good. So now we need our y's. Okay, starting with the lowest, that's going to be our range. What would be my range? You can't see the one on the 0. That help a little bit? Okay, so you're giving me my y. So I see negative 2, negative 1, positive 1 and 3, negative 2, negative 1, 1, 3, negative 2, negative 1, 1, 3. And then I have 3, 1, negative 1, negative 2. Okay. You can put it in descending order, but thank you, Pog. All right, so negative 2, negative 1, 1, and 3. Okay. The range of 5 from 3 to negative 2. Now, anti, we got to be careful because this is not a continuous graph. So we can't use, interval notation because it's not continuous. It's discrete. They're just a bunch of points. So Janice, it looks like this. This point is negative 2, positive 3. That's that order pair. This point right here is 0, 1. This point right here is 2, negative 1. And this point right here is 3, negative 2. Okay, so when we listed the domains, we took the x values of each point. Negative 2, 0, 2, and 3. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit. Oops. Okay. So now when we do the range, we're looking at the y values. And we're starting with the lowest y, which is negative 2, negative 1, 1, and 3. Okay. How are you feeling now? Okay. So if you think of plotting the points first, for your domain is the list of your x's, for the range is the list of your y's. And an order pair always comes as x, then y. Okay, think of the alphabet, X, Y, Z. Okay, so you got your x, then your y. You think you got it? Okay. We got 3 more. Does the line needs to go through the origin to be continuous? Continuous, it means that it does have a straight line, there is, in order for it to be proportional, it needs to go through the origin. Okay? So in order for a line to be continuous, well, one, it's a line. So if we look at this one, if it gives you a straight line, okay, or even if it gives you, okay, parts of an ellipse, okay, or even gave you absolute value, all right, these are continuous because there's no space in between points. It's just a continuous line. Whereas up here, these were dots. There would be discrete. Okay. Do I tutor one-to-one? Yes, I do. You just have to go to my website, ACG Math Tutoring, but for some reason, me typing it doesn't mean anything. Because it doesn't show up. I don't know why. So anyway. But I don't know. I really don't know why that can't happen. But anywho. But yes, I do tutoring. You just have to go into it. Into my website. And then just click on and fill out the contact form. And I'll get back to you. All right. Thank you. All right. So now, speaking of, is it a function or not a function? Oops. Do we have a function for our next one? Okay. This one is not a function. Pass your ACT. Gotcha. Okay. No, not, no. Good. Okay, although this point here, if I drew a vertical line, let me use a color that you can see. If I drew a vertical line, it does go at one point here. However, if I let that vertical line travel elsewhere, this is crossing right here and here, the two spots. So the X's are repeating here. If I use this spot, the X's are repeating there, okay? Doesn't matter that it wasn't repeating over here, but it's repeating here, it's repeating here, it's repeating here, repeating here, repeating here, okay? As it ventures out, it's gonna keep going and repeating. So yes, this is not a function. Okay. Yep, those X's are repeating. Now, although this is not a function, we can still list out our domain. This is going to be a little tricky, all right? But it is possible to list it. So since it's continuous, that means I can do that interval notation. Now, the domain is my X's. The lowest X is right here at -1. And since it is a solid point because there's not an opening there, that's going to give me a bracket. Okay, so the lowest number we had was -1. There's no gap. It's a solid continuous ellipse. Okay, half of ellipse or a hyperbola. Here we go. So now we got that -1. But what happens if I keep traveling along the x-axis? I will constantly get a value of x involved, even though it's being repeated, but I'm still getting a constant stream of x's. So that means I'm starting at -1 and I'm going to keep going all the way to what? There you go, Michael. Good. That's not -2. You know what? You're right. It is -2. From my angle for a second, it looked like -1. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right. So we got from, it's including that -2, and it's going all the way to which infinity? Which one? Okay, make sure it's going all the way to positive infinity. So going to the right goes with positive infinity. Going to the left is negative infinity. Okay, good. So that I can represent my domain as an interval notation because this is a continuous graph. Because we can represent numbers in between 0 and 1 perfectly fine. But now our range. What's going on with our range, our y's? What do you notice? Okay, so Michael's saying from negative infinity to positive infinity. From negative to positive, all real numbers. All right, JD, what they said. Right, perfect. Okay, so there's not a stop. If you notice, this arrow is going to keep going. So that means it's going to keep expanding as it keeps continuing on. So we are looking at from negative infinity. Remember, the lowest always goes before the highest. And infinities always get parentheses. All right. All right. Okay, awesome, guys. Very nice. Not bad for a Sunday night. Range continues to positive and negative infinity with the arrows indicating to the right and down. Yes. Yep. Once you see those arrowheads, and there's times you have to double check. Before you just go shooting to, oh, it's negative and positive infinity, also always take a look to see if it's arrowheads on the ends. If there's not and there's just a definite point or open circle, you got to think about that too. Especially when you get further advanced, like into calculus. All right? You're going to say that, but I wasn't sure. Yeah. Put it out there. Put your answers out there. All right. So this is what I'm going to do for the next one. I want you to tell me my answers. Is this a function or not? And if so, what's my domain and what's my range? Okay. So parentheses is when you're not including that point. Brackets is when you're including the point. So if you think of like inequality symbols, when you have the line underneath it. So when you have the line underneath it where it's like less than or equal to, that's going to be a bracket. But if it's just less than or greater than, that will be a parenthesis. Okay. You're welcome. So take a look for those that are coming in. Thank you for stopping by and just hanging out, and we're doing math. I know, on a Sunday night, on Memorial Day weekend. This is what we do over here. But right now we are basically breaking down functions, and we're seeing if it's a function, yes or no, and if it's domain or range. Okay. Deli Maths? Well, thanks for the follow. Okay. It's like driver 8 takes a break. So driver 8 takes a break, saying yes is a function. The domain is all real numbers. The range is including -1 and going up to positive infinity. Okay, so Love is saying it's a function. Michael's saying yes, a function. Okay, Pog is saying it's a function. The domain is all real numbers. The range, you go from -1, including -1, all the way to positive infinity. Okay. Hey, Rough Nut, you're so confused. That's fine. You just got here. You know, it's almost like you trying to go into a movie theater and you came in at the end. You have no idea. Who is that? Is that person important? Is that the twist? What's the plot? Yeah. So we're actually going to break it down in a moment. Okay. I love your use of infinity signs with that. Aster said. That's good. So yes, it's a function. Okay, good. So it does pass the vertical line test. Yes, it's a function. We got that part. All right, so some people are saying the domain is all real numbers. That's negative infinity to positive infinity. Yep, domain is left to right. Range is top to bottom. Okay, JD is saying it's definitely a function. Bundles of Blessing, yes, function. Not sure about domain and range because I didn't see any points plotted on the graph. Perfectly fine. I'm glad you said that because I know other people probably feel the same way. All right, and you're saying the range is -1 all the way to positive infinity. Okay. All right. Okay, bottom to top for range, not top to bottom. Okay. All right, thanks. There you go. Negative infinity, positive infinity. All right. Now, let's take a look. So, like most of you guys are saying, we have that vertical line. I'm just going to pick a few spots. But no matter which spot I picked, this graph only, which is an absolute value, hits our vertical line in one spot. So that means my x's are not repeating, which is good. So this is a function. So now, for us to look at the domain and the range, let's see if we're in, squeeze that in a little bit. So our domain, we're going to list, and since it's continuous, I don't know why I'm doing this. Since it's continuous, I'm looking, there's an arrowhead, there's an arrowhead. So that means it's going to keep going all the way up and out. So since we're looking at my domain, it's my x's. So it looks like my x's are going to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, all the way to parenthesis, negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay. So from negative infinity to positive infinity. Whereas the range, we want to start from the lowest to the highest. This vertex right here, that's at my lowest point. And the y value at that point is -1. But I notice my graph is opening upwards and it's going to keep going all the way to positive infinity. So since this is not an open circle, it's continuous. It doesn't even stop. It just keeps going right here. So that means it's including that point at -1. And you're going all the way to positive infinity. And the infinity signs always get a parenthesis because parentheses means unbounded. Okay, so it's almost like if you're, I don't know, if you're in a bubble and then you want to push your hand, you can push your hand. You won't be able to break the bubble, but you can extend that bubble space a little bit. But when it's a bracket, it's almost like a wall. You can try to go through that wall. All right, Superman. But right now, us mere mortals can get really close to the wall without breaking through. Okay? So that means it's bounded. Okay? It's bounded. You can get as close as you can to this paper. I can't go through my desk unless I put a lot of force to it. Okay? But I'm not trying to go through my desk. All right. The square bracket. Okay. All right. Oh, thank you for the roses. I appreciate it. All right. All right. So, retrack. You want to try the vertical line test to see if it's a function. If it only crosses that axis 1 point, then it is a function. Unlike this one here, when I draw a vertical line test, boom, here and here. That means it hits this graph in 2 spots. That means these 2 x's are repeating. So that will be not a function. The domain is the list of your x values. The range is the list of your y values. Okay. Ooh. Sorry, I got this puzzle piece thing I gotta put on here. Okay. Oh, well, thank you for the crane. Oh, showering me with all these gifts, spoiling me. All right. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Now, here we go. Hoo-hoo, what is this? What do you think? Is it a function or no? And what would be my domain and my range? So Cookie's saying it's not a function. C4 definitely not. Snippety is saying definitely not. Bundles, no. Danny, no. User, cute, no. Is it Ursura? Usura? Or Ursura? Please correct me, because I want to make sure I get your name right. You're saying it's not a function? Are you a teacher and or a tutor? I used to teach in the classroom for 22 years, but now I'm doing my own tutoring business. This is year 5 for me for tutoring. Okay, good. Not a function, not a function. Awesome. Okay, it does not pass the vertical line test. Okay, no way. Jose. Color. Let's see, we do this. Now, what's my domain? What is my domain? Good. Leslie, good. Not a function. Good job. Welcome back. All right. So you're saying domain is all real numbers. Your range is from -1 to +1. Ooh, interesting. Cookie saying the domain is basically all real numbers. Michael R is saying the domain is all real numbers. Okay, it's right on the range. Good. Oh, I skipped over user. I'm sorry. Domain is all real numbers. Range is -2 to -2. $14 year. No, definitely not 14. Okay. You agree with Cook? Okay, with the domain. Okay. The one, right? Oh, Cookie. Okay, gotcha. I had to look up. I was like, Cook. Wait. Oh, Cookie. Gotcha. All right. So, as we continue on, notice we had some arrowheads. One's going to the left, one's going to the right. So it doesn't matter right now what's happening in the middle. it's basically telling me that all of my x's will be represented. So my domain is negative infinity, positive infinity. Now another symbol to say all real numbers, you could say this, the double R. Okay, that's also the symbol for all real numbers. It's like you're drawing an H and then you look like you're drawing a capital R around it. Now, the range though, I know, right? We fancy. So the range, remember, the range is going to deal with your Y's, the bottom to the top. The lowest part, because there's nothing past -1. Okay, so since there's nothing past -1, -1 has got to be the lowest part. So the highest part is going to be right here at +1. So since there isn't any open circles, that means we're going to be using brackets. The lowest, which is at -1, and the highest, which is at +1. Okay, so we're including those points. Okay, we're including those points. There we go. Yeah, how do you type that in the chat? I think most people are using the brackets. Oh, you mean the double R? Yeah, you can. You just say all real numbers. Yeah, I don't think they put the double R as one of the math types, which I don't know why. Why not? Okay. All right, how are we doing? Okay, not stressful around here. I try not to let it be. You know, even if we may get some people that are like, oh, well, you're wrong, you're this. I'm like, that's fine. I'm not a super brainiac. I'm just here. All right, so for those, I'm going to do a little shameless plug. If you like my notebook, like the little design of it, I actually created it. Okay, so kind of going through this. We're not done. I still got one more thing that I want to teach you guys before we scatter away into our own personal little lives. Okay, so if you like this, I designed my own notebook. Okay, lots of pages, like 100 pages for notes, one on one side, and then you're gonna see we also have the grids on the other side. Now, in addition to hundreds of pages of notes you can have, we also have what's called a resource. Okay, resource pages. So it'll give you your factor sheet from 1 all the way to 200. Okay, so this kind of helps us out when we're factoring for breaking down radicals, doing factoring, trying to find those factors to simplify. And in addition to it, we have like the most traditional rules that, you know, most algebra has. Because this book, I really wanted to design it for 7th grade all the way up to adults. So we got the rules of integers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. We have like some of our most popular words and phrases. Here we have some of our equations, which is linear and quadratic. The properties of exponents, which a lot of people generally forget. Then the order of operations, which is another thing that we generally forget. Then we have our properties of quadrilaterals, volume and surface area, area and perimeter, which I don't think I'm going to be able to get to tonight. Sorry. Try it for tomorrow. Then we have the unit circle, as well as Pythagorean's theorem and some trig functions. So I'm trying to kind of focus it in on older students, because most of the notebooks that we get, and including the brain breaks, So most of the notebooks that we generally have nowadays are good for journaling and they're good for elementary school. Okay, not so much for high school. Like our note paper and our notebooks should transform as much as the way that we do things should transfer. So if you're interested, I know I'm going to be coming up with another version of the book for helping out next year. But I'm also creating a notebook design for my upcoming summer math people, which I am having a sale. Okay, we're having a flash sale, and this is all the way up to Monday at 11:59. Okay, these are going everything from basic arithmetic, so adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions, integers, decimals, and to like one-step, two-step equations, probability, system of equations, factoring, anything linear. Trust me when I say everything linear is going to be on your GED exam. Okay, if you're here to take the GED, and if you're also here to take the ASVAB, they always put slope in there. They always put the equation in line. They put a graph. They'll do system of equations, which is basically two or more equations, but we generally stick to two. Where do they intersect? The equations for inequalities. Okay, which way something should be shaded. Okay, those are the things that they have on the test, and those are 4-point questions. We need to hit on those 4-point questions. If you hit on a few of those and you do well with the arithmetic, you should pass the GED. Okay, that's how it's going to be designed. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk it through. You also get replays just in case you can't show up for that session. It happens because it's a summer. This is like a last minute thing. But I did notice that there was a lot of people coming onto my lives that were taking the GED or they're taking the ASVAB, and they felt like they were being rushed in their community college classes, which you are, because that's how it's designed. They try to jam almost a whole year of math in 8 weeks. Not possible. Like, not possible. So they're just basically taking your money. Okay, how do you order? It's in my website, which for some sick and twisted reason I can't get into. So if you go to my website, Audrey Codner, if you go to my profile, the website should be there, and you just look for Ultimate Math Notebook, and it will take you to my virtual bookstore, which is Books by Audrey Codner, and you can order your books through there. Okay, all right, perfect. So, enough of the shameless plug. Now we're going to do one more step and then we're done. Okay? So, we worked on how to identify functions. Okay? We know how to identify them. We know the difference between a relation. So, this whole thing is a relation. But how do we know it's a function? Because my x values are not repeating and it passes that vertical line test. All right? So now we're going to do some evaluating, okay? So evaluate is just another fun, active way of saying substituting. All right, so evaluating functions. So if I gave you a function, now the function can be named anything. It could be an F function or an H function or a G function. So let's say that we have a G function. G unit. Okay. Sorry. Even I was like, ugh, Audrey, God, that was so terrible. So we have -5 plus 2. So G of X equals -5 plus 2. And they're asking us to find out what the G of -1 is. Okay, so when you see it, I'm judging you. Of course, judge away. Yes. Not today, but tomorrow, that you walk everyone how to click to your profile. I would love to. Michael, that's a great suggestion. I would love to. If I can get in if they let me go through. Because the way my thing is set up, I might be able to do that. You know what? I'll try that. I'll try that tomorrow. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, like how to sign in and all that. So smart. All right, Daniel, how are you? Okay. So, all you're doing is when you try to solve this. Nothing too crazy. This -1, notice it's in the same place as x. So they're telling you in a nice fancy way that they want you to take this -1 and substitute it for the x. That's all they're doing. So now you have your -5, and when you see -5x, that means -5 times x. So what's going in for the x is our -1. Okay. So now we have -5 times -1. Negative times a negative gives me a positive. So we have a +5 plus 2. So 5 plus 2, just like I think it was unknown. Yep, unknown. Just like what unknown mentioned, is a 7. Okay, so the g of -1 equals 7. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just found is an order pair that satisfies this function. All you did was find -1, 7. All right. Where did I get the -1 from? That was the start of the question. That's what they wanted you to do from the beginning. Okay. So sometimes they might even give you, I'm going to say they're using the same function, but this time they want you to use, let's say 5. So they want you to find the g of 5. So that means I'm using the same g function. So that g function, you got -5. I'm going to slide it over in a moment. Okay, I just want to rewrite it. And that basically you're saying that wherever we see an x, we're going to put that 5. All right. I know. Sugar-free Dr. Pepper. I think sugar-free Dr. Pepper is the original formula. I'm sold on that because it tastes just like the Dr. Pepper that I remember. So -5 times 5 gives me -25. And -25 plus 2, good, -23. Okay, so that means your g of 5 that they gave you is a -23. So you just found the order pair, 5, -23. I know, crazy, right? Plum, I think it's the spices. That's what I love about it. I can't drink it too much anymore, getting older. Everything's trying to kill me. It's like, everything's trying to kill me. You can't eat this, it'll kill you. You can't eat that, it'll kill you. You can't do this, it'll kill you. Everything's trying to kill me. All right. Oops. Okay, but they don't make sugar-free drinks in 1885 when Dr. Pepper was created. I know, right? Everything's trying to kill us. Anywho, Let's do a mixture. Let's finish it out strong. Let's do like, I'm going to list a couple. So let me unzoom a lot. And let's go with, I'm going to say the g of x is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 1. Then I have the h of x, which is 3x squared minus 5x. And I want you to find, let's say, the h of negative 2. We'll go there. And then we're going to find, let's say, the g of, let's say the g of 6. Why not? Okay. So we have two different functions. We have a g function and we have an h function. All right. So whatever they ask for, that's the function that we're going to go to. So this one is saying we want to know the h of negative 2. So we're not going to the g function, we're going to the h function. So we're going to rewrite, you have your 3, and instead of an x, you're going to put a negative 2. And as you can tell, there's 2 spots that has x's. So we have negative 2 here and a negative 2 here. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in. So, first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to cover this little bit up right here so we can focus on this side. What should we do first? What should we do first? Square the negative 2. Good. That 4, the exponent. Good. The square. Excellent. Okay. Negative 2 squared. Good. Okay, Michael, you got my answer. Here we go. So negative 2 squared. Negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2. So that gives us a positive 4. Once you get that 4, then the 3 that's on the outside, then you multiply the 3 and the 4, which gives us 12. So now on the other side, let me cover this up. You have a minus 5 times a negative 2. Minus is the same as negative. So it's a negative times a negative. That gives us a positive. And 5 times 2 gives us 10. So this comes down with a plus 10. So now you have 12 plus 10, which gives us 22. So that means the h of negative 2 is equal to 22. Which ordered pair is negative 2, 22. All right. Good. Questions on that? Thank you, Roxy. Appreciate it. Okay. Questions on these? Okay, the evaluating piece, the main thing is you make sure that you're substituting in the right function. That's the biggest piece. So why do we do the negative 2 squared first? Excellent question. Because we have to remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We got to get that order of operation. Let me see if I can. Here it is. So it might be different because I'm not sure where you are located. So in the States, because I don't want to add insult and just be like, in America, this is what we do. Because there's a different ways. So we go by, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, meaning parentheses, then exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But it's best to have it like this, because multiplying, dividing is almost like equal, okay? Equal values. But you go from left to right. So you might be international. That means you're doing your brackets. Then you have your order, which is your exponents. Then you guys tend to divide, then multiply, okay? Then addition and the subtraction, okay? So you guys flip that part, if that's you. So I don't know, okay? So I don't like to add insult to injury. I do not like to be like, oh yeah, just do it my way. Guys, there's multiple ways of doing the same thing, but here's the thing. There is an order, okay? But sometimes people don't do it at first. Yeah, you really should always do PEMDAS. That should be like your staple. Okay. Oh, thank you, Roxy. Okay, so 22 is the y, right? Yes, 22 is your y. Yep. Okay, your x-axis is -2. Your answer, your result will be your y. Ooh, that will be fun. A quiz night? Okay, Lisa. All right. Not tomorrow, but yeah, give me some time to like process this stuff. Jess like, no. Well, you never know, Janice. It might be a mixture of some things. Nothing too crazy. I'll try to keep it. You say yes to a quiz night? It'll be okay. I'm cheating off everybody's paper. All of a sudden, I'm getting like these absolute values for my answers. I'm like, yeah, I know ChatGPT when I see it. Yeah, that's the only thing. I might be in the hall pulling the fire alarm. Oh, yep, I think everybody needs to go outside. It's nice out. You guys are funny. All right, last one, and then we are going to say good nights. And I'll just switch over to my other mode, which is let me think of a quiz night now. Okay, let's just add that. All right, I'm teasing, but that sounds like a really cool idea. And just like something fun, entertaining, not too stressful. I have to think about it. Because, you know, there's always that one person that's going to mess it all up and just throw their ideas. You're like, ugh, you just made it not fun anymore. Okay, you'll try it? Okay, good. And you'll be surprised. I mean, there's going to be questions. I might focus. Yeah, I'm going to focus in on GED and Accuplacer and all that fun stuff. I don't know what I can use as a prize. Or do we have to have a prize? Because, you know, we're all competitive. Suggestions on prizes. That's not going to make me bankrupt and have to put me on the poll in order to pay for it. Like a gold star? You can do a gold star. The poll's crazy. Yeah, you know? Oh, if that poll can talk. The prizes are, our pride and job well done. All right, Lisa. Gold stars are the best. Okay. You're still coming. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I love that. All right. So let's finish this up. Let me think about it. All right. So now we're using the G function. Okay. So that means we're using this x squared plus 4x minus 1. So if they want us to find the G of 6, that means we're plugging in the 6 for where the x's were. Okay. You want to give this one a try and tell me what your final answer would be? I'm over here thinking of quiz questions. I love your name. Sexy. And I know what you're trying to do. Oh, thanks for the basketballs. Look at you. Snippety saying 6'11". Try it again. Try again. Joe, we're saying 9. Give it a try again. Perry Ward. Yes, this is algebra. Okay, Michael saying 59. Symphony, sorry, 59. Okay. No worries. Again, this is not Squid Games, and I'm going to off you when you get it wrong. You're done. Because you're probably seeing it like as a 7. That's a 1 at the end. Sorry, I had to angle my book. I'm so sorry. Okay. So we got Roxy, 59. Bernadette. Hello, Bernadette. Welcome in. Saying 45. Lisa saying 59. I subtract instead of added. Okay. Hello, Bernadette. Another Bernadette? We got 2 Bernadettes? Look at this. How much of a blessing. Love that. Okay, give me 2 more answers. 2 more people with 2 more answers. Have a coefficient of 3. For the h it does, but we're not doing it for the h function. We're doing it for the g function. Okay, the g function is this one right here. And it does not have a 3. Okay, so we switched it up on it a little bit. Okay, Michael's saying 59. Perry's saying 43. 59 again. Okay, 54 for Janice. Okay, Bundles saying thank you. Not a problem. Yeah. And they will love to do that. All right. Okay, so let's take a gander. So we have 6 squared. Okay, 6 squared is not 12. Okay, 6 squared is 6 times 6. Okay, which in fact gives me 36. Okay, plus 4 times 6 gives me 24. Then I bring down the minus 1. So now, if I do 36 plus 24, that would give me my 60. And 60 minus 1. Why am I not writing this down? So 60 maybe because I'm getting a little tired, minus 1. So that will give us our answer of 59. All right, so your G of 6 is 59. So basically what you found was an ordered pair, which is 6, comma, 59. All right. Vroom, how are you? Haven't seen your name in a minute. Okay. CR, hello. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow and the taps, guys. I really do appreciate it. I really, really do. I'm like, every time I come on this app, I'm just like, regardless of how my day is, and just to come on here, like, even if it was, and I am very appreciative of the 100 and some people that are coming in, and I know it's a holiday weekend, so most people are doing what most people do on the weekends, celebrate. Anytime that, it's a 3-day weekend, they're not gonna sit in and do math. But I appreciate the guys that do come here almost every day religiously, and just entrust me to break concepts down with you. And I really do appreciate that. Thanks, Roxy. So it just really shows that there are still some humane people on this planet. And just the mere fact that we see and value each other and we encourage each other. And I love when we celebrate each other. When someone's like, they got, a 90 on their test, or they passed their GED, or anything like celebratory. Like, I just had a baby, and I'm like, really? Just right now? And you're here? Just the main fact that you guys let me into your worlds in a way, and I let you into mine in a way, it's just wonderful. And I really do appreciate it. I just want to help and instruct more people. You're a nerd? Hey, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with the nerds. Nerds are ruling the world right now. Do I know Trig? Yeah, I do know Trig. I was like, aw, love yous too. Sorry, the Philly came out there for a second. Like, use. It happens. But for the most part, I really do. Like, even if I had, like, my goal was to get 10 people. and I surpassed my goal. Just to get 10 followers. I will never forget. I'm like, if I get 10 people, I'm good. And yeah, we're surpassed that. And now we're trying to do summer enrichment stuff to help other people build up their characters. And if you know anyone, I'm serious about this. Like, it's not so much being driven by money. It's more so, a couple people donated. And just the fact, like, seriously, I cried for like a good half an hour, because I'm like, I'm not shocked, and I don't know why I am shocked, but just the fact that people still want to help people no matter what. And there's a lot of good still here. So I'm thinking, hey, God is good. Thank you. I was like, how are you doing? Come see you for a minute. Yes. So I hope you guys have a great holiday. Please be safe, because as I was sitting here, I know the difference between fireworks and gunshots. And yeah, Baltimore is about to get hot. So you know where I'm going to be right here. So tomorrow afternoon, I will still come in here. I'm going to pop in and talk a little bit about the sale of this prep course. I really do want to help as many people as I can out. There are some people that are taking advantage of some people that are donating, which is awesome. And if you want to also donate for a spot for someone, you just go ahead and message me. Or whatever they allow you to do for me. If it's an email, you can email me. But if anything, definitely reach out, because that would be helpful. And I think a lot of people are just, celebrating right now, or wallowing in there. I don't know what to do, and they just haven't discovered me yet. But we definitely have 4 people already signed up. And a couple people already took advantage of that, which is awesome. So, yes. Oh, JD. Yes. Definitely message me. Definitely message me if you can. If you can email me or whatever they're allowing you to do. Let me know so we can do all the details. And yes. Yes, right? And it does. It helps because people really want to get their GEDs and they really want to get this ASVAB so they can go into the military and do better for their family and for their lives. And, and if this is the way that they want to do it, and the only thing that's holding them back is the math, I want to be that person to help break that barrier down for them. And I would love for that. And it's not so much I need praise and glory afterwards. It's just, I just want people to do better and want to go after something. So that's just me. So yeah, so if you want to, that's great. Again, it'll be with the flash sale at the 97. And if you ever want to buy any of my books, you can buy some of my books. They're also in my website as well. And I'm going to be working on a book 4 just for the course. And I'm also working on something a little bit different, which is good. It's a good different. It might help some other students out as well. All right. So yes, Matthew, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time and attention, guys. If you need anything, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I think tomorrow, since it's Memorial Day, I don't think I'm coming on at 9:30. I might come on at 8:30 because I don't have any students. But I will definitely be jumping on talking about the courses and also selling my wares. Like, spare change. Just like going out there. Oh, thank you, Perry. And if any of you guys need, if you need like tutoring, please message me or go to ACG Math Tutoring. Or you could just you can just Google my name, Audrey Codner, and trust me, ACG will pop up. So if you just type in my name, that is my actual name. So it's not like all fake and everything. But you can just type in tutoring afterwards. Because if you type in Audrey Codner, sometimes my basketball stuff will show up. So, yeah, that was many moons ago. Yes, please do. Please do. All right. Okay. Is lacking my GED is math. Yes. So, yes. Let's go, Roxy. Let's do it. Okay. Do you intimidate men? Yeah. I'm 6'1". No, you can't tell because I'm usually sitting down, and plus you only see a hand. But yeah, pretty much. I don't even know how I got married. Why did I get married at that time? But I'm divorced now. Oh, thank the Lord. That was not the one. That even God told me that was not the one. But I didn't listen. I thought I knew more than what God did. Stupid me. But it was an experience that helped mold me. So I'm moving on with my life, right? Yeah, it's an experience. You had to go through it. That's what life is. You can't just have it going up all the time. That's boring. You got to have some downs and some pitfalls and scrape your knee up a little bit and, go through some crazy stuff. Gotta build up the strength, right? Too many equations on it. Maybe. Maybe I did. All right, everyone. Well, thank you. Oh, 23.1 likes. Guys, whew, aren't you tired of typing? But I appreciate it. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Be safe tomorrow. Make sure you know who made the potato salad before you dive in. Yeah. I say this jokingly, but real facts. Like, make sure everything is cooked. Don't just that smells good. Look, that could be an air freshener for all you know. Okay, so make sure everything is cooked. Make sure everything is situated. I will be eating by myself, which I'll be perfectly and utterly fine with. And if you do have to go to the market, go in the mornings. Don't bombard it at the last minute before they close down, okay? All right. Yeah, no raisins. Jesus, why? Why in the beginning? Why? Yeah, and whoever made the mac and cheese, if it looks crazy, don't eat it. Just don't eat it. But what happens if I hurt their feelings? It's either hurt their feelings or hurt the toilet. One of the two. Something's going to hurt. So I choose meat. So don't touch it. Ask how long this has been sitting out. Okay, especially if it's mayo based. Because we have delicate stomachs, people, now. We can't do this. We don't bounce back like we used to, people. We do not bounce back like we used to. Remember the days that we would go out and we could stay all kinds of hours and just do kind of shots and it didn't matter. We just like, even with a hangover, no. We can't do that anymore. Sorry. Sorry. Right. Ooh, no go. Well, yes. Hurt the feelings, avoid the hospital. Exactly. Do I have children? I do not. You really want to know so much about me. Yes, I do not have children. That was definitely my decision. And I think at this point in time, that was the best decision. And what I can do is, as I told my mom, she always says Happy Mother's Day to me. And I'm like, what? She's like, you teach everyone. You teach all these kids. And I'm like, yeah, all different daddies. What's that saying? It put a smile on her face. But yeah, you have to bringing mine. Yes. Yep. Especially with no gallbladder. Yeah, because we don't bounce back as we used to, guys. We really don't. All right, so gonna end it up. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I will see you throughout the day tomorrow. I'm going to pop in. There's going to be a couple lives here and there. There may be a couple things. If you know of anyone that fits the bill, okay, for GED, ASVAB, TEAS test, if they're thinking about taking the TEAS test for nursing and they need that algebra component, or even the acuplacer, okay, bundles, if anything, message me back. Because I have a good idea for your daughter. Please message me back. But I'll be here. Oh, good. I'm glad you had fun. Yes, be safe. And I'll chat with you sometime tomorrow. I'm probably going to go live at 8:30. Just be on the lookout when I put a post up. Okay? All right. Take care, guys. Good night.